I'm on.
Thank you, guys.
The main man.
All right, guys.
Go ahead. Coach, talk about getting out to a fast start, being able to get some other guys in, and really kind of have kind of a complete game, top to bottom on your roster.
Well, I thought the most important part was that we were not trying to worry about getting off to a quick start. We were worried about defending. We were worried about sharing the basketball. We were worried about rebounding. I mean, it was really three things. We said, hey, we got to defend out the 3-point line. I thought we had to start improving our perimeter defense a little bit and extending our pressure a little bit. And then we had to limit teams to one shot so we could go out and then I think our offense was starting to flow a little bit more. Most important part about that offensive flow is the fact that we had 20 assists and only 8 turnovers. That we're top 5 in the nation, I believe, right now. Assist-turnover ratio, I think that we may be number 1 at just assists per game. I'm not sure of the stats, but I know that I've been told from time to time, I don't check stats like that too nightly or anything. But it does indicate the fact that we have guys that can and will pass, can and will share the ball. And that's something that we've done, whether it's been at UCLA or at home or on the road at St. Mary's or at TCU. We've been able to pass and share, and that's made us pretty competitive on a nightly basis.
You talked about defending. First half was a record, I think, for fewest points in a half, 14.
Was it?
Yeah, Cal Poly, that's what Chris told me. Can you talk a little bit about right, Chris?
Record for fewest opponent points in the first half.
In the first half.
One level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that speaks to the importance of.
Oh, and it was that was the issue was that we wanted to make sure that there wasn't easy shots anywhere, and we made a very conscientious scouting report decision that we had to start extending our pressure. We had to start going a foot to 3 feet beyond the 3-point line and making those shots. So tonight they were 6 for 21. I think 2 of those came in the last 4 minutes. Number 14, Old Jones, dropped a couple in there in the first half. Yeah. But I think that most importantly that we're contesting the other guys that were firing up there, so they were never any really good clean looks. Even the ones that Jones hit were very pressured and contested, and that was critical.
Now I noticed you had a lot of people scoring. You had a lot of freshmen getting some big minutes. How much do you prepare for those guys in the game plan? Before the game.
Not at all. We don't predicate anything. We tell them that we're going to coach every game minute by minute, and we're not gonna script anything or say tonight you're getting minutes or tonight we want to go with this guy. We will look at things like how somebody's been playing in practice. We decide who our top 8 are, who our 9th man is during the week of practice. But you've got to earn it during the practice floor, and then you've got to be able to come in the game, and then you've got to be able to do it. The 2 minutes, 5 minutes that you get are going to keep you on that floor or not. And I thought that was important. That I thought Jamal Johnson had just a great floor game tonight. Some things that he did offensively for us. Again, him and Chris O'Brien. Some of the things they're doing doing as a team for us. If you take those 2 guys' assists, they had 11 assists and 2 turnovers between them. And Dylan gets 15 points, and Kyle Ottiser gets 10 points. A lot of that comes because Chris O'Brien and Jamal Johnson are using screens and drawing 2 people and finding the right guys. So when you get shooters out there, it's nice to be able to have a couple guys that can stretch the court. But now I think best thing I like is that we're able to get to the paint with our guards, and they're sharing out. So we're getting some inside interior passing that's been better, and share the basketball and let the shooter shoot it.
Coach, you talked at the beginning of the season about kind of wanting to have a body of evidence before making kind of a lot of comments on exactly who was going to do what or so forth. Do you feel like you're at a point now where you can start to make some of those judgments? And what are some of the things that you guys feel like you've improved on the most, and what do you feel like you need to improve on still before conference?
Yeah, I think that we've made some significant strides on the offensive end. It's just the flow of the game, not looking as not looking like we're listening to plays. We don't really run plays; we run actions. And so you hear some numbers being called. Those are basic actions, and the guys can do 3 or 4 different things after action, whether it's a top screener, or it's a lower screener, or it's a baseline pin down, or it's a flare. They have freedom to do that. Well, when you first introduce that you think about it. Now I think guys are much more in tune with that, given a month's worth of practice. Then defensively, I thought that the last time I really felt like we defended the perimeter well was Northern Colorado. They came in with a really good three-point shooting team. And then the other games, I thought, Fresno State, I didn't think that we ever got extended out on their shooters, and they knocked down some shots. I thought that even at UCLA, we let some guys open it and missed them, but we were still obviously able to. I think we just basically outshot them. I don't think we out-defended them that night. We just outshot them that night. And then we lost to St. Mary's because we didn't extend it there, and Deladova, their point guard, did what we did tonight. In fact, he controlled the tempo, and using the on-ball screens, he was able to get there and hit a big or kick back out and control the tempo. So I think we learned from playing against St. Mary's, and that's why we try to play the best teams that we can find and continue to learn. I think as coaches we learn every time we play a good team. I think as players they should learn. They go against a guy like that and how to use that on-ball, how to get to the paint, slow down, how to pop, kick, and drop it. And, proud of our team. I'm not a guy that is just going to say, we should win. It's hard to win. Any victory is a good victory, and you win convincingly, with good defense, good rebounding, and unselfish offense. It wasn't an ugly, sloppy win by 15, 20 points, big deal. It was a very consistent defensive effort, very consistent offensive effort, and a very professional approach to the game, I thought. And that's why I want our team to be that way.
How important is this 3-game stretch kind of sandwiched between a stretch of games, with UCLA and St. Mary's, and then you got Washington on the back end of the 3 games preseason? How important is this 3-game stretch to really kind of improve and make sure you're...
Well, you hit the word. It's improved. This is what we call pro time because the guys are done with school. We say, now you're pros. You have nothing but 2 weeks to concentrate on basketball. And so when we get on the bus on the way up there, I actually have some readings for them. We got readings from a Sports Illustrated article on the Spurs. We got readings from an old Duke article about communication on defense. So, we don't want their brain to go dead. And then when we get up there, we'll shoot around and then we'll have a late night scouting report, 10 o'clock at night. It's not like they're going to be running around the casinos having fun at 10. They're going to be in the film room. We'll have an hour of film and we'll have a scouting report preparing for Nevada. We'll get them in bed. We'll get them up the next morning and start with breakfast and start, going back to film and reviewing this game. And so the important part is the improvement. Yeah, it's a good 12-day stretch. We told them that we're not obsessed with the wins and losses. We're obsessed with making this another we go to Nevada, we win by 2, or we go to Nevada and we lose by 12, or we go to Nevada and win by 10. Did we play better? And then coming back to that home game.
You touched on that. Both of you boys said this team is a better team than a month ago. What have you seen in terms of that?
Absolutely a better team, and it's better in multiple areas, and that's what we're proud about. We're more flow offensively. We are more solid defensively. We're not flying and distorting ourselves as much. Mm-hmm. And I think that our mental maturity, our emotional stamina, some of the new guys understanding what you can and can't do at the Division I level. Reese Morgan, learning to the very end that, hey, you have a guy locked up and he fouls with a second. He's going to learn from that. And we're just so proud of how the guys they're taking that to heart, that every possession of every night of every game is another chance to get better because, and we want to look at that through conference play because what's unique about this game is that we want to be playing our best basketball when we go to the Honda Center at the end of the year. And we've got to do a decent job to get to the Honda Center. But when you get there, you got to say, we're getting better. And I think that the fans probably tonight, saw us a couple guys above the rim. I think you're seeing our size and athleticism a little bit more. Guys are finishing above the rim that are aggressive, and you're looking at the strength of the point guards and the development of our point guards. And how they're trying to create opportunities for one another.
You talk about emotional stamina. I don't want to kind of belabor the point, but it seems like that's something that becomes a pretty consistent thing throughout at least the beginning of this season for your team. Guys who are able to kind of, I don't want to say shake off losses, but at the end of a tough game, be able to say this is going to make us better 5 minutes later. Is that something that you kind of look for specifically in guys you recruit, and is that something you guys talk about explicitly?
Yeah, that's a good point because we talk about through the recruiting process, we don't want high drama kids. We don't want high drama families. We don't want high drama coaches. We're saying, look, to be good at Cal Poly, you're going to have to put your shoes on every day and get dirty, get muddy, get to the film room. And if that old-fashioned, dirty, grindy program-building approach isn't good for you, then if it's about sizzle and what kind of new shoes do I have and how many games are on TV, then or how many flat screen TVs are in the locker room, you're not going to be very happy or successful with us, because we're trying to get a culture that is hard-nosed and tough, and no matter what happens to us, win by 20, win by 40, lose by 2 at the buzzer. I look at the real test of that is the big losses we've had in the past, maybe the last-second buzzer beater at Santa Barbara or here. And people say, well, how are you guys going to handle that? And I go, just like we would have if it would have been a 2-point victory. We would have said, all right, it feels like crap, go home, go to bed. And we hold our coaches to that standard. I hold myself to that standard, hold the players to that standard. That's water under the bridge. It has to go. And the emotionally strong people just realize, hey, it's a game of basketball. We're going to enjoy it tonight. I'm going to go have a nice glass of Central Coast wine with my wife, and then we're going to go to bed and get on the bus tomorrow at 10 o'clock and be gone on a 3-day road trip. And so that's kind of the basic fact about that's what emotional maturity is. It's like, hey, we did our job, be happy, enjoy it for a little bit, but guess what? Tomorrow is boom, we're going to, and it's going to be a fun trip. Think about that. To go to play a good defending WAC champions on their home court, that's a great challenge for us to go up there.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you guys.
And as you watch